OMJ Clothing is an elite men's clothing store that provides a vast array of spectacular brands of men's lifestyle apparel for every day. Elevate your business upscale casual at OMJ. Success comes from standing out.
Welcome to Dental Business Made Simple. Now, here's your host, Coach Matt Doherty.
Welcome to Dental Business Made Simple. I'm Matt Doherty, and I'll be your host. Today, we're going to talk about the foundation of the triangle, the organizational triangle, culture. I talked in the last episode about the organizational triangle, and I'll put up the diagram here for those that are watching this show. The organizational triangle, just as a reminder, at the top is talent. And then at the bottom is systems and culture. And I say that culture is king because you can have great systems and great talent, but if you don't have a good culture, nothing else matters. I've seen great teams with, not great teams, great talent and great systems, but a toxic culture fail. And conversely, I've seen average talent, average systems, and with a great culture be successful. So a lot of people don't know, I think, how to manage culture, how to drive culture. So again, culture is king. And today we're going to stay inside this one pillar, which is culture. Most dentists, most business owners that I've worked with say culture does matter, but few define it. Culture is not how nice you are. Culture is behavioral standards. Your culture is what you allow. Your culture is what we tolerate, what we reward. Do we correct things? Okay, what do we correct? Are you consistent with that? Are you consistent with that across all employees? Or do you have some favorites or some you're afraid to correct? If you avoid conflict, your culture weakens. I do a whole exercise with my coaching clients on, I call it crucial conversations. How do you address poor behavior? And if you tolerate mediocrity, your standards drop. If you protect high performers and confront poor behavior, culture strengthens. Okay? If you protect high performers and confront poor behavior, culture strengthens. Dentistry is emotional. Patients are anxious. They decide to move forward based on trust. And trust is cultural. There are 4 cultural standards that every practice needs in some way, shape, or form: candor, accountability, respect, excellence. Okay? So think about that. You can make an acronym out of that, right? CARE, C-A-R-E. See, I give keynote talks, and one of my favorite topics is to drive a championship culture. I was blessed to have played for legendary coach Dean Smith on his first national championship team alongside some great players, including James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Michael Jordan. And this is where I developed the organizational triangle, because I thought back to Coach Smith's teams, and I thought to all the clients I work with that are successful, what is the commonalities in every organization? Every organization has talent, systems, and culture. And so I go and give talks on culture, driving a championship culture. And I'll ask people, do you have core values? And, in a room of 200, 225, 250 people, pretty much every hand goes up and says, yeah, I've got core values. And then the first thing I do, I look at somebody, I point to them, I say, okay, what are yours? And they start to stutter and they get uncomfortable. They look up in the sky and they say, it's on my website. I have it on a sheet of paper in my office in a binder. I have it on my phone. If you don't know your core values off the top of your head, you can't live them. And if you're not living them, your culture is going to suffer. So when you have core values like candor, accountability, respect, excellence, and you can make an acronym out of it, we could say Doherty Dental cares. All right. We have candor, accountability, respect, excellence. I have another client that I worked closely with, the dental office, on their core values, dental practice, and they came up with right: respect, integrity, teamwork, and excellence. And they could say that we do things the right way. And so I think it's important to keep your core values to 3 or 4, because you can only remember 3 or 4 things. That's why phone numbers are 3 and 4 digits long. They're not 7. Okay. You cannot remember more than 4 things. Okay. Ideally, keep it to 3, maybe 4, make it an acronym, and then it's memorable. And then everything you do, hiring, training, disciplining, is filtered through your core values. Okay. So let's go with candor. Candor means issues are addressed quickly. Accountability means metrics are owned. Respect means no gossip and no undermining. Excellence means preparation and improvement are daily habits. You do not announce your culture once. Okay. And I love this, because as a coach, I didn't teach a kid how to shoot a basketball, a foul shot, one time and leave him alone. It's called practice. You run a dental practice. Okay? You practice your skills. You practice how to upsell. You practice how to run a front desk. You practice how to clean teeth. You practice. Your culture is a practice too, and you must operationalize it. You don't announce it once and leave it alone. Every day, every meeting, you talk about core values, and then you operationalize it with behaviors rooted in your core values in different processes, like hiring, in your meetings, in reviews, in terminations. Okay? I think your core values should be as evident in terminations as they are in hiring. You hire to your core values, you train to your core values, you fire to your core values. And if respect is one of your core values, you need to terminate in a respectful manner. See, people from different age groups, from different communities, need respect defined. In my household, I'm 64. I grew up in an Irish Catholic family. Parents at home, 3 older sisters, younger brother. Went to Catholic school. Discipline, man. You listened to your teachers. You didn't talk back. You showed up on time. You cleaned your plate. You slid your chair in. Those were things that I was raised with. Somebody else may not have been raised that way. And so I can't assume that respect, my idea of respect, will be the same as that other person's. So you got to define respect with a list of behaviors. So I talk about core values, and then respect to me is a behavior is leave the room nicer than you found it. It drives me crazy when you walk into a conference room, a break room, and there's an empty soda can on the table, or there's dirty dishes in the sink. Okay? So respect, leave the room nicer than you found it. That's operationalizing your core values. So if values do not influence hiring, firing, they're meaningless. All right, so your assignment: identify one tolerated behavior that violates your standards. Address it this week. Culture strengthens through speed. You need to address these poor behaviors in real time. Listen, it's like raising kids. Your son or daughter spills milk, you address it right then and there. If you avoid that, or they spill milk the next day and you don't address it, that shows some inconsistency. So these are things that you weren't taught in dental school. but they're fundamental to a successful organization. Thanks for tuning in to Dental Business Made Simple. I'm Matt Doherty, and I'll see you on the next episode.